Good afternoon, everyone. It's Barry Asman here, and we are coming to you live from Timonium. And the main attraction, Dave Steele, is coming on as we speak. Here he is. How are you, Dave?
I'm very good, Barry. Looking forward to this one all week, obviously, but especially today.
Absolutely. This is prime time here. Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time. This is prime time right here, and it is my greatest pleasure to be here with you today. I apologize for that noise, but you know it's tea and poetry. I'm getting my coffee. It's coming off the Nespresso as we speak. So
it's not the coffee machine, is it?
There it is. There it is. Making a little noise. Cheers. 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 Cheers.
It's a little bit later here. I haven't got tea. I'm going to cheers you with a glass of wine tonight.
Woo! Glass of wine. Cheers. So I want to welcome everyone who is joining us this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. It's great to be here. And I just want to go over a couple of simple things which we go over every week. And that is, one, if you want to join and participate, and we really encourage you to please participate, whether if it's audio or if it's with just video, whatever you prefer. Well, we do need audio, but if you want audio and video, we'd love to see you, and we would love to bring you in. So if you want to join the party, if you want to call it, raise your hand. There is a button that says raise your hand, and once you raise your hand, then I will bring you in at the next possible moment. And if for some reason it may take a few extra minutes, please be patient. But I promise you we will do our best to bring you in. Also, you can send me a message through the chat. You can also send a message through the Q&A. So we are constantly monitoring, and we will do everything we can to call you and bring you in. It's great to see all these familiar faces and a lot of new faces that I am seeing pop up here on the screen tonight. So again, it's great to see everyone, and I hope everyone is staying healthy. And again, it's great to be here. So Dave, how are you doing today? I know that you had a challenging week, if you want to call it so far.
Yeah, hence the glass of wine. Yes, certainly it's been a challenging week. I kind of spoke about it over the last couple of weeks, and I really want to get into this tonight. I've got a really good feeling that tonight is going to be a very, very special call for a number of reasons. So we've kind of spoke about the last few weeks about how I'd been kind of having a bit of a decline in my vision. It was my birthday on the 21st, and a couple of days, it was actually on the 18th before my birthday, I went to my kind of twice yearly checkup at the Manchester Eye Hospital here. And they told me that what had happened was I'd had a cataract surgery on my left eye at the beginning of 2019, and it wasn't quite successful because I developed what they call cystoid macular edema.
Right.
So for those of you that don't know, cystoid macular edema is little pockets of fluid that develop on the back of the eyeballs. You can get them with, a lot of people suffer with cystoid macular edema if they've had cataract surgery, but also people who have my condition, retinitis pigmentosa, can be quite prone to them as well. And I've actually had cystoid macular edema in both eyes before I'd even had my cataract removed when I first was diagnosed with RP. And cystoid macular edema, what it does is these pockets of fluid, they cause blurriness and light sensitivity. So when I had my cataracts done at the beginning of 2019, I developed cystoid macular edema, and I kind of went on drops for it for a little while. So had a checkup on the 18th just gone, and they said that had gone down, but I developed what they call I want to get this right, PCO, which stands for posterior capsule opacification. So which is basically the lens that they put in, because when they do a cataract surgery, they take out the lens where the cataracts is, and they replace it with an artificial lens, and so many out of I think it's about every 1 out of 11 cases when they do it develops this CPO, which is basically kind of deposits on the lens, which can be fixed, can be lasered off, but it causes extreme blurriness and extreme light sensitivity. So the same as you'd have with a normal cataract, but worse. And literally after the call last week, my vision took a dramatic dip in the space of a few days, to the point where at the weekend I was like freaking out a little bit because I can't see all, everything's blurry. Couldn't see, the faces of my wife or my children, and can't see to get around. And I was really panicking, saying there's something really, really wrong. I knew there was something wrong. It was a bank holiday here on Monday, so all kind of the opticians and everything was closed. So I had to wait until Tuesday, got an appointment yesterday, and they said that the CPO, as it's called, the PCO, get it right, PCO, as it's called, had really kind of developed on my left eye, which was causing everything. So I've got to try and get that lasered off. But it kind of got me thinking about a lot of things that we've kind of touched on. Obviously, last week we did the big whole technology side of things.
Yes, and I want to give you a great thank you. A lot of the technology vendors who we work with commented, and they said they loved it. So
brilliant.
If anyone who missed it, you can check it out. By the way, and this goes for all of the TM Poetry, they are rebroadcasted on YouTube and on Facebook, both on the Low Vision Shop, the Blind Poet, and also on Low Vision Specials, I think, and also the Low Vision Shop YouTube pages. So plenty of locations where you can tune in. We're not on Roku yet, but maybe one day we'll be there.
Absolutely. So yeah, and we will do that again. But with everything that's kind of gone on this week, the week prior to last week, where we did the tech week, accessible tech and everything, we really got into the last few weeks talking and really the people on the call getting involved and really talking about things that are important, like mental health and the challenges that we face, that everyone faces, adjusting to a life of low vision that in a lot of cases can constantly kind of change. And we spoke about a couple of weeks ago this kind of circle of going through that grief process, and once you complete a stage, that it's not that you'll ever get back, you won't ever have to face that again. It almost goes round and round and round, and we constantly have to adjust. And that is something that I've written about lots. So tonight I really wanted to kind of get into that. And I know out there, I've got a couple of very special people on the call. One I've told you about and one I've not told you about tonight.
Yep. And I see one of those individuals out there already.
Yeah, I've already looked at the list. I wasn't surprised. But there's one I've not told you about, which we're going to get on shortly as well. So before we go into the calls, I always start with a piece of poetry, and you know what I'm like for kind of picking stuff that kind of fits the moment.
Yes.
And I know, from the people that I've just kind of alluded to, there's a couple of people out there that haven't listened into the calls before. So I want to kind of, get into what it's all about, and then we can really get into this topic tonight and talk about some stuff that I think is very important. Also, I don't know if you know, we're into September now, and September is actually Mental Health and Suicide Awareness Month.
Oh, I did not know that.
There you go. You learn something new every day. So once again, another reason to start talking about this kind of stuff. So we'll start with this poem, and then we'll get into the calls. And I really want to speak about the first person I want us to bring in, who obviously you know who that is, Barry, but
yes.
I'll talk about it in a bit. But yeah, have a little listen to this and see what you think. We know that losing vision can impact our mental health. So why does society encourage us to keep it to ourselves? Won't feel ashamed for sharing pain when fragile mind feels broke. There's far too many souls. Sorry, 1 second. There's far too many souls. It's my eyes again. There's far too many souls we've lost, still be here if they had spoke. I've given up 1,000,000 times. I've even cut my skin. With no one I could talk to, I felt my whole world caving in. but every scar that's etched on me reminds me I can cope. If I can share my story, someone else may see there's hope. This poetry that lives in me has given me a voice. I've faith, I've found my purpose, and my open heart's my choice. So never let them tell you that it's pity that we speak. There's strength to talk of weaknesses. Don't hold it in, let's speak.
Beautiful, Dave. That was beautiful. I mean, when I'm looking down, I have a paper here, and I try to take notes because you always hit on so many important notes. Hey, taking notes, but you hit on so many important notes, and I want to make sure that when we talk about what you just read, I want to make sure that I have those details that resonate with me, and hopefully everyone out there is paying attention, and I'm sure you guys are. But there's so many different words that will set off a chain reaction in our mind, and they're just, again, hopefully this was all in a positive way that is getting people to think, getting people to understand, and like you said, being able to cope when it comes to sight loss. So yeah, mental health, you mentioned, very, very important. Keeping to ourselves, and I think that when you touch upon that subject, keeping to ourselves, that goes with everything, not just with sight loss. And I think it's so critical that I mentioned that being able to communicate, being able to share, as far as share your story. And I want to point this out. We've had many people share their story through this platform, and to my understanding, it's been extremely positive as far as the overall interaction and the benefit of it. So I want to encourage everyone out there that this is a great environment to share your story. You do not have to hold back or keep anything that's on your mind. And while this is all about tea and poetry, I'm sure Dave would be happy to talk about many, many other topics. So again,
absolutely.
And Dave always says he's an open book. So I always encourage you guys to pick a little at Dave and then see what he's got there. But he's got.
Well, I mean, the lines were in there. Some of the stuff that I always talk about on a week-to-week basis. The strength to talk of weaknesses. It was a promise that I made right from the beginning. Is that I was going to kind of talk about everything to do with low vision in the books and in my poetry, and I think there is a great strength in being able to communicate that. And it's okay, once again, I will get to this down the call. There's so many things I've set up tonight that you don't, you probably don't realize yet. It's that we've all heard that line, it's okay not to be okay.
Right.
And that is a big thing. Being able to talk with like-minded others is a great strength. There is no shame in being able to, admit, which I talk about. I was speaking about at the weekend with my dipping vision. I can't see well at the moment. I know that, I'm in a situation where, for those people out there that have been in my situation who have had PCO, it makes you so light sensitive that I can't go outside at the moment. I'm really struggling with daylight, and I've got to wait until I get this appointment to get it lasered off, and that's the only thing that's going to fix it. So I've got to kind of adjust. And you have when you have moments like this, you kind of, I said to Amy before we did this call, I said, it's almost like destiny is saying to me, here's a little taster of what's to come, because my vision will probably be like this in the future on a permanent basis because of my RP. And maybe this is a little period where I know it's temporary, because when it gets lasered off, it'll get sorted, touch wood, but maybe I should take this as an opportunity for me to get comfy in the blur and be a bit more prepared for what's coming in the future.
That's a very fascinating way to look at it, Dave.
Yeah, and I think, it's my kind of way of looking at it. And we all have our moments where we have bad days and we take a step back and we feel sorry for ourselves and we let the, any challenges get on top of us. But, I said it in there about, where's the line? Let me just find it. But every scar that's etched on me reminds me I can cope. And that's true because, you know, I've got scars on my wrists from attempted suicide from my younger days, which we've spoke about in previous calls. And I'm a great believer that all the challenges that we face in our past give us the ability to face the ones going forward with a much stronger armor.
You know,
And that's certainly the way I see it.
You're 100% right. I'm trying to think, you know, I've had quite a few calls in the past 24 hours, you know, across the board, but I was specifically talking with someone. I don't remember who it was. I apologize. So hopefully it wasn't you, Dave. No. No, but what we were talking about is that, you know, when we go into those uncomfortable, you know, sometimes painful situations, what we take from that and how we come out usually is going to make us a stronger person. So it's going to bother me who I was speaking with about that, but I don't think it was you, Dave. But no, it's about, you know, getting ourselves in those uncomfortable situations, going out there, you know, pushing and getting through, breaking down the various types of barriers that exist for all of us in so many different ways. And again, coming out on the other side and being better.
It's funny, something I think about quite often, and I think we've spoke about this as well, is, you know, I quite often, and I've done this again recently, especially this weekend, I think about everything that I've been through in the past. And I consider myself very, very lucky. I'm thankful, you know, I've wrote about it before and I talk about it all the time, about being thankful for my low vision. I'm thankful for where I am right now, because I have the opportunity to do these amazing things and speak at events and you know, support people through my words in a way that I could never have dreamed of. And if I look back on my life, I, you know, think of all the rough times I'd had in my past. I would, if I had the opportunity to go through it all again, I would go through every single traumatic thing that I've gone through to get to where I am today. Because you know, I'm a great believer that every kind of thing that we go through guides us in a certain path. And I would go through it all again in a heartbeat to get me to where I am now. And that's something I think that brings me comfort in times when I feel like I'm struggling.
Right.
Because I look at my past and go, well, I've survived that. It's in there, that poem. You know, then it shows me that I can survive.
Because you come out a stronger person.
Yeah.
Every time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that is something that I always, you know, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. The poetry that everyone uses, you know, of mine, you know, on the call that we talk about on a week-to-week basis, they read my poetry and what they get out of it. I do the same thing with it when I'm struggling. I read back some of the poems that I've written and it reminds me, you know, and helps me. So touching on that and opening the call, I really want to get to getting in and getting interactive now. Yes. We've got someone very, very special on the call.
By the way, there are a lot of hands that are raised right now. I do want to let you know that.
So is there stuff coming through the chat or?
Well, we have a couple things that have come through the chat. Thank you, Doreen. Doreen says you're a hero, so we appreciate that, Doreen.
Love you, Doreen. First of all, I'd like to bring Karen.
What? Yes,
I'd like to bring Karen on.
Yeah, but before I say that, if you guys, whoever notices that there is no one standing to the right or to the left of me this evening or this afternoon, the one and only B Fox is working off-site today, so he may pop in and say a quick hello, but
he's had a busy day.
He has had a busy day. This was we had our first photo shoot with Mr. Fox, and it was a lot of fun.
Great.
A lot of fun. I can't wait to have you back and do a photo shoot together with everyone.
Yeah, me too.
That will be incredible. So he is working off site. There are a lot of hands that are raised. And before we start going into, and before I bring on our first guest, Karen, whose name I will never forget because that's my wife's name, Karen. And I just want to say a quick hello, a shout out to Dustin, who I bumped into last night. And I want to apologize for being so curt and abrupt. Unfortunately, I was running way behind schedule. And, I just want to apologize, but it's great to see you. So hopefully we'll see you again very soon. Okay, let's go ahead and bring on Karen.
Karen Baker.
Yes, Karen Baker, thank you for your patience. And I am going to bring you on right now and promote you to a panelist. And let's see, Lauren says, Dave, you are my inspiration to keep going. You motivate me every day and have helped my sister and I both so much. Thank you, Lauren, for sharing that. All right, so I've just asked Karen to unmute herself, and here we go.
Hello.
How are you, Karen?
Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
So first of all, Karen, I'd just like to say thank you for, I know we chatted earlier today, and I just want to say thank you for kind of, taking the time to come onto the call tonight. I don't want to keep you too long, and I don't want to kind of put you on the spot any more than I already have. I just want to give you a kind of brief introduction for those people that are out there. So, well, in fact, can you just kind of, before we get into what's been going on recently, can you kind of explain to those that are listening how we came to meet virtually?
Sure. So my son Sam was diagnosed with RP when he was 8. Lots of interventions were put into place at school. Sam was very keen to raise awareness about using a white cane, because as with RP, as you will all know, you may be on your phone 1 minute or reading a book, and then you will fall over something, trip over something. So he was taught to use the white cane. He wanted to educate his peers, so he did an assembly in school at the age of 9, which was amazing to the whole school. And he explained why he was going to be using a white cane. And then the local news picked up on the story, and he was on TV in a small part, just basically saying, I'm blind, but I'm not blind, which is a common RP misconception. And through this, we met Dave. Dave very kindly sent Sam a copy of one of his books, which has been an inspiration for all of us. Yeah, so that was basically how Dave and I came to know about each other.
And we've kind of kept in touch, haven't we, through Facebook?
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to carry on, or?
Well, no. I was just going to say, we kind of, myself and Karen and the family kind of kept in touch, sporadically, and we kind of look for each other's posts, and it wasn't until really today you put a post out, which for those people out there that kind of follow me or the Stand By Me RP page will possibly have seen today. But for those that haven't, can you just kind of carry on and explain what the post was saying about what's been happening, over the last period?
Okay. So Sam seemed to be coping very well with his diagnosis. We had struggles and issues at home now and again, but on the surface, he was doing really well until he started secondary school. Again, he was happy to go. He seemed to cope okay. By this time, he had a really good EHCP plan, which is the equivalent to the old statement, as some of you may know it. But unfortunately, the school in question did not apply this. He didn't get the support that he should have had. He was expected to cope independently with not only a new school, but all of those things and obstacles that starting secondary school poses. We had many meetings. They promised they would put things right. He would get the support. He managed to attend the first term. Then we had the Christmas holiday. We still thought, actually, he's doing really well, until he went back after Christmas. He was only there a few days when he was sent home feeling unwell. The next day, he started to vomit. We thought at the time he'd got a bug. Okay, treated it like a vomiting bug. come day 6, we realised that this was not any normal bug that we'd ever seen. Doctors didn't know what to do. He was taken into hospital. He was tested for any number of things. Nobody could give us an answer. I will fast forward because it's a very long story. It's been going on for nearly 2 years now. His vomiting reached the peak where it was 30 to 40 times a day. Eventually, he lost the use of his legs. He could not walk. He's been in a wheelchair for a year. He was fed by a nasal gastric tube because he couldn't keep anything down, fluids or food, and they were afraid his organs would fail. He went from being a happy, lively, popular boy to being skin and bone, and we thought we were going to lose him. He then endured a prolonged admission to hospital where they tested him for everything and anything under the sun. And if you see the post, you'll see the state of him, because one of these invasive tests included putting a wire into his brain to test for his pressure in his brain to see if this was causing the problem. As it turned out, thankfully, some might say, there was no physical explanation for this. In a nutshell, they told us that Sam had had a breakdown. His brain could not cope with the overwhelming feelings he was having at having to face sight loss. And yeah, so it was all psychological. His brain had done this to him. The vomiting, the loss of use of mobility. And I'll be honest, it absolutely knocked us sideways and scared us beyond belief, because we never knew the severity that mental health could impact on somebody's.
Can I just ask you something, Karen? Sorry,
Sorry, yeah.
No, don't be silly. I'm just getting a bit,
And first of all, Karen, thank you so much for sharing that really detailed story of what's going on. And go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, it just really affects me. When you put that post out today, between yourself and your husband and your family, had there been kind of conversations? What was the kind of thought process before deciding to put that post out? Had you consciously kind of decided that you needed to kind of make more people aware?
So we discussed it before. So to conclude, from what I was saying earlier, Sam has now been admitted to Great Ormond Street Hospital. I don't know if my American affiliates will be familiar with it, but
it's a pretty famous hospital in London.
In London, okay. Are you in London?
World leaders in what they do as far as children are concerned. It's just, I know of a few people that have been in various different wards of Great Ormond Street, and it's an amazing place.
So it's a children's hospital, and it is, like Dave said, it's a world leader in children's medicine, and they have a designated unit called the Mildred Creek unit, which is a psychiatric unit for young people. And we went for an assessment in March, and the doctor who assessed Sam offered him a bed immediately, and he should have been in March, but due to the current world pandemic, it was cancelled, and he has only just now been admitted. But we are very hopeful, and they have told us they are utterly convinced that they can fix him and turn this around. But he will be in there for at least 4 to 6 months. It's going to be a long, long job. But the reason, in answer to your question, Dave, the reason we've put this post on is because we don't really do social media very much, but an awful lot of our friends and family are on social media. Yeah. And obviously this situation has been going on for such a long time for us. It's 21 months, I believe, since the beginning. We haven't really been that great at keeping up correspondence, and we felt that now that he's now turning a corner and getting the help that he needs, now's a good time to actually reach out and tell people our story, Sam's story.
It's been a battle to get where you are right now. You know, it's far from over, but it's been, you know, you fought against it to get him the right kind of help and support.
We feel this is hopefully everything crossed and praying to God.
Absolutely.
It's the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah.
And that they will help him to come to terms with everything he's suffered with, everything he's coming to terms with, everything he's going to face in the future. Because it's
I've not said this to you, but I know I'm so confident that amazing boy who did that assembly and came to the attention of the press and everything else, that spirit that he's got in him naturally, that you guys have got, you know, that you've instilled in him, it is gonna be the thing that gets him through. And he's, we spoke about it before we brought you onto the call about, you know, the scars from our past being the thing that gets us through our future challenges. And I totally believe that about Sam, that he is going to come through this and be stronger than ever, and he'll be, you know, teaching so many people so much in the future. I believe that, and I believe that you've got him to the right place where we can get him there.
We think so. Somebody, if I'm allowed to just say, somebody sent me a message the other day. Whether you believe or whether you don't, it's irrelevant. It was about a diamond and how a diamond becomes a diamond. They have to start off life as a rugged piece of not very important rock that endures extreme pressure and challenge, and eventually, once that is broken open inside, you would expect a crumbled, dilapidated piece of nothing, but actually you find a diamond that's beautiful and strong. And that's what we believe we are going to find in Sam at the end of this.
That's beautifully said there, Karen. And you know, I just thank you for having the courage to kind of do what you did and share with people at this kind of stage. And you know, I'm sure I can kind of echo everyone else that's out there listening to this, that we are all, you know, cheering you guys on and rooting for Sam, and we're all here to support in any way we can.
Thank you. And I will keep you posted.
Please do. Barry, Barry, is there anything you'd like to add there?
Karen, would it be okay if I bring in Diane into the mix? Diane has raised her hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring Diane in.
I have a feeling Diane would like to say something specifically on this. Really, I just want to thank you for sharing your story. And Dave, I know you had shared me the Facebook post. Maybe if we could put it out here, I would love to share it as well. Diane, I'm bringing you in right now because I just have this feeling that you want to, chime in on this. So I'm bringing you in now. And Karen, I also, talk about RP misconceptions. I'm going to share with everyone, afterwards, as far as some of the work that we are doing to help bring attention to not just, common RP misconceptions, but common misconceptions across the entire sight loss community. So, Diane, you are here. How are you?
Hi, guys. Karen, I came in late, but I believe I caught most of your story, and I want to thank you so much for sharing that. How old is Sam?
He's 13.
He's 13. I was just curious when you were telling your story, what was Sam's reaction when they told him, or did they not tell him this is more of a dealing of his brain not able to deal with this versus an actual physical illness?
So they told us first. Sam was convinced it was a physical thing. He believed he had a brain tumor or something more sinister going on, as did we at the time, to be fair. But but they told me and my husband separately in a private room that it was psychological, that he'd had a breakdown, and this was his brain's way of coping with overwhelming feelings. It was deflecting what was actually going on and causing physical symptoms. When we told Sam, he was really shocked and actually very sad. He almost wanted it to be something physical, I think, because the thought of trying to challenge something psychological seemed monumental. And
we often think that the physical things are easier to fix than the
absolutely, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I was wondering if he's dealing with guilt. Oh, I caused all this to myself?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think he's ever felt that. He's asked why him, and he's asked why is my life so terrible and why has this happened to me, but he's never really blamed himself.
Well, that's good. That's a great start. Yeah.
He knows that he's not the cause of this, and I mean, my husband has RP, and Sam is not my only child. My other son has RP too. So it's in the family. We know all about it. And actually, rather than blaming my husband, which would be awful, they look at him as an inspiration, because he has a guide dog. He's registered blind, as are both my children. But my husband still goes to work every day with his dog and carries on. And he has been such an inspiration to both my children, because clearly they can see that life goes on.
And that's clearly shown in the way that he initially reacted by doing the assembly and things like that, he reacted in such a positive way.
He did. And to be fair, I need to give my older boy credit for that, Jamie.
Yeah.
Because he was in secondary school at the time, and he was diagnosed, and it was suggested by someone in school that he might want to address the school and let them know what's going on. And he did. He did an assembly. He explained all about the white cane. They showed a video about RP and the effects of it. And he took in simulation glasses from Retina UK, from the charity. And the response was amazing. And yeah, he got a lot out of doing it. And I think it was off the back of that Sam thought that doing the same thing in primary school would have the same effect, which, to be fair, it did. I mean, it really helped. But obviously none of us realised just how much Sam himself was struggling internally with everything.
You couldn't?
No, we couldn't. I mean, we thought we'd opened the avenues of conversation. We're so close to Sam. We're really close to both our children. But Sam's way of coping was to joke it off, laugh it off. He used humour to deflect it all the time. And actually, and it was a really good disguise, because none of us saw this coming.
Well, anything else you want to add, Diane?
I was going to say, even it sounds like Sam was able to joke it off enough that he himself didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Absolutely right, Diane. He didn't have a clue. This came so out of the blue. It hit him like a bolt out of the blue. It knocked him sideways. It knocked us sideways. And, well, as I said earlier, we nearly lost him. Thank God he's still here, and now he's in the right place, getting the help he needs. And, please God, he will come out of this a stronger, more resilient young man.
Sam is a fighter, and just from the way you've explained his personality, and from our side, we wish him a speedy recovery. We look forward to having Sam join us down
absolutely,
the road.
Absolutely.
So it would be an honor to have him here. And if you can please just send him our best wishes, and we're thinking of him. He's in our thoughts and our prayers. And it sounds like, again, which direction to proceed forward with now, and now it's just a matter of time. So,
and I'd just like to echo, Karen, before you go, once again, to say a massive thank you, because I know what it must have taken to kind of come on tonight, and I apologize if I've kind of put you on the spot, but I think the power in telling the story and making people aware is so It's so important, and something we need more of. And yeah, I just want to thank you again. And yeah, I really hope you'll keep us all up to date, and we can all kind of support you guys in the best way we can.
And Karen, before you go, because you talked about RP misconceptions, I just want to share with everyone a photo that I took earlier today, as far as a story that I am building out, if you want to call it, as far as misconceptions in the sight loss community. And before you go, I just want to share this picture with everyone. And in this picture that I have up on the screen right now, we have our incredible photographer, Brian, taking pictures of our beloved friend, Mr. B. Fox, aka Ben Fox. Now, this particular photo wasn't planned. This was part of a photo shoot for earlier today. But the point of this particular photo that we want to portray here is that, Ben is looking at his cell phone, but he's also holding his mobility cane and wearing his filters. And, we always say that, there are, whether it's through television, through whatever media, we always say that, a person, an image of someone who is, again, we know blindness comes in all different shades. We know that they may not, fit that specific, be in that box of what a blind person is supposed to look like, right? And so here, the story that we took a brief moment to specifically capture these particular shots, so we can build out a campaign to show that just because someone has low vision, a sight loss condition, that doesn't mean that they can't look at their smartphone, read an email, or hear an email, or whatever it may be. And so we specifically took a few moments this morning just to take this particular type of style photo. And I can't wait to start using this, the final photos in future campaigns. And for individuals who cannot see this photo, again, it's a picture of Brian, our photographer, photographing Ben Fox standing by a light rail train station platform with train tracks in the background and the yellow strip at the bottom highlighting the tactile strip as far as where to stand on the platform. And so I just wanted to share that with everyone because you specifically talk about misconceptions, and it's something that we are trying to do as much as possible to bring greater awareness and advocacy for the sight loss community. So thank you.
And this is why we are linked, in the way that we are. That the message from all the people that we are connected with here, that now Karen is a part of, being on this call tonight. We're all trying to get this kind of same message across, and it's such a pleasure and such an honor to see this happening, because it's well needed. We need more of it.
Absolutely.
Karen, I hope you'll as you go back into, I hope you'll stay with us and just listen in, because I've got something coming up special, very special next that no one knows about.
Okay.
Which is going to be pretty cool. So we'll put you back to kind of being listening in, and then I want to bring somebody else on, which I've not even told Barry about. So this is going to be cool. What happens next? Stay with us. Stay with us. This is a really special call tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Karen.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Diane.
Diane, I'm going to send you back for a few minutes as well.
Barry,
Okay.
I would like you to bring on, as a panelist, someone by the name of Suzanne Clark, who's out there. Suzanne will be ready.
Suzanne Clark. I don't see. Oh, I do. Yes, I do. Yes. Okay. Suzanne, I am bringing you in right now. At first, I was like, I don't see her, but she was there. The bottom of the list. Saved the best for last.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I certainly can.
Do I put my video on as well? No.
Yeah, you can do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you.
Oh.
We would love to see you.
Oh. Oh.
We've got a kind of a UK special going on tonight. I don't know if you noticed this, Barry.
Yeah.
Hi.
It's all good. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for joining
us. You too.
And
thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome.
Hey, there we are. Oh, I love the hair, by the way. I'm loving the short hair. It's fantastic.
Brave for shade.
Oh, is that what was it a Brave the Shave, or was it just?
Yeah, for Macmillan.
Oh, it
yeah,
was.
I've raised
Fantastic.
£500. So yeah.
So can you, before we get into it, then can you explain what the Brave the Shave is to our American cousins and friends?
It's to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Research. So you just sort of pick a day, sign up, get a profile, and get it out
Shave
there,
your hair
and
off.
people start donating. Yeah, just shave your hair off. Yeah, which was lovely a few weeks ago when it was so hot, but now need some earmuffs. It's a bit cold.
That's how I felt when I shaved my beard off at the beginning of COVID. So listen, I've not really introduced you to Barry and anyone else that's out there. Suzanne is very, very special to me, and I want to kind of it's funny the way things kind of happen. I had this idea of how the call was going to be tonight and what we were going to talk about, and then your post that we're going to talk about in a minute that you put out recently that I shared popped on my news feed, and I saw all the amazing comments on it and how in the response it had got, and I thought, what a perfect opportunity to bring you on and really introduce you to people.
Goodness.
So first of all, can you, I'm going to kind of structure you with this, so bear with me, Suzanne, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you kind of explain a little bit about your background as in work life and how your experience with low vision came to be, and then how we met, first of all?
Okay. So I've been a nurse for about the last 30 years, the last 10 in a hospice. My dad has RP, and I can remember going to Moorfields in my 20s, and I don't think it was diagnosed then. I don't really remember anyone sort of saying anything. And what can I say? Sort of fast forward a few years, one of my dreams has always been to go and move by the sea, and also to work in a specific hospice down in Dorset that I'd passed as a teenager, when we had holidays down there, and I thought, I'm going to work in there one day. Anyway, moved down there, got the job, had an interview, looked round, absolutely fantastic, couldn't believe I was finally there, I thought, oh my goodness. And then a week later I broke my ankle. At the same time I was having tests for visual field defects. No one had diagnosed RP at this stage, but in the back of my mind I thought, something not quite right. Vision at night was getting quite poor, and a bit of denial, no, I'm fine, it's just I'm scared of the dark, putting it down to all these different things, but I knew. Then I was diagnosed with osteoporosis, and then the results of the eye test from the opticians got sent to the DVLA, and within 48 hours I had to return my license. Then a week later I was diagnosed with RP, so it was just, everything was just happening at once, and I had to email the hospice to say I can't work there anymore, because I wasn't in a great place to carry on with my nursing either, and and not having transport, it was just so difficult to get to with shift work and what have you. And I can just remember just being at home. I think the plaster had come off by that stage, and I was sort of hobbling around on a plaster boot type thing, feeling really, really depressed, really low. I didn't know where to go, who to turn to, who can you talk to about it when you're struggling with it yourself? Couldn't make sense of it. So I went on Facebook and I searched in the little search bit for retinitis pigmentosa groups. And I joined one. It looked sort of quite popular and everything. And I was just sort of scrolling through like you do. And I saw one of Dave's poems. Oh God, I'll start to cry in a minute. The poem that I saw was called It's Okay. And, I read that, and it gave me it's given me goosebumps now. And, the tears were absolutely just streaming down my face, because I thought, this is my life in verse. And it gave me permission to grieve, gave me permission to live, but all at the same time, if that makes sense. And we've just sort of stayed in touch and been friends ever since, haven't we? I've sort of had ups and downs and what have you. And so, yeah, here I am.
Suzanne, that is an incredible story. Wow. And by the way, there are other individuals on this webinar call, whatever we want to call it, tonight, who I'm sure are probably, shaking their head and saying, wow, I've had some, similar situations. And by the way, Derek is on the call tonight, and he sends his best to everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you, Derek. That's truly remarkable. I mean, the fact that you got your dream job, right? If you want to call it, right? This is where you wanted to work, and then all of a sudden, things quickly changed.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, they did. Yeah, and I tell myself, that was terrible at the time, but I tell myself now, do you know what? At least I actually got in the place. I looked around. I got inside, and if that's all I'm allowed to have, then I'm happy with that, because it was a dream to get in there, and you
did it. You did it.
For those people out there, the poem that Suzanne found is, I'll read it to you now. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be afraid. For all the sight we're yet to lose as our loved ones' faces fade. But don't let that fear consume you. Push the ones you love away. Despite all that's gone, to them hold on. Through the fog, they'll lead the way. But if friends and family leave you because they don't understand, just remember you are not alone. This life never goes as planned. Though we may be total strangers and reside on different shores, through these poems, I know your story, for my tunnel's the same as yours. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be afraid. Though you may not see, you've a friend in me that will never be betrayed.
Wow. That is a powerful beyond. Wow.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So fast forward again to where we are now. I speak about Suzanne at a lot of my events. In fact, I spoke about her. You may remember, Barry, may click to you now that I spoke about her a lot at the events when I was on my book tour in October, November in America. I speak about Suzanne a lot everywhere I go. And she now writes poetry herself about her journey.
Oh no, I'm not. You're not in Dave's league at all.
And
nothing to worry about there.
She messaged me at the weekend. Was the weekend, wasn't it? Was it the weekend?
I think so, yes.
Pretty sure it was the weekend.
I wrote it on the Friday, that's right.
Yeah, the weekend just gone, and she said to me, I'm writing a poem, I've wrote a poem, and I really would love your kind of thoughts on it and see what you think. And if you think it's good, I'm going to put it out there. And I read this and was absolutely blown away, because what I love about this kind of poetry and the sort of stuff that I do. Whenever I'm writing a poem, I'll have an idea of a particular kind of thought or a concept, a point of view, a perspective, a story, a part of our journey that we all can relate to that needs to be told. And you did just that with this, because it really hits the mark of telling the story from your kind of, from a woman's perspective of dealing with low vision and coming to terms with things and breaking down misconceptions and dealing with mental health and talking about all these things. And I really, really loved so much what you've written, and to see it have such a great response out there was such an amazing thing. So I'm absolutely honoured that you will read this for us tonight, if that's okay.
I was gonna say, I hope you're reading it.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right then.
No pressure. Stumble away. Do whatever we're all friends here. Just do your best.
By the way, you have nothing to fear in this group.
It's not a one-take thing. You're not recording it for a video, as I've done. When you sent me that, you said how many times when you're trying to put a video out, how many times you'd actually done it. And I believe I'm exactly the same. These videos that I put out. If I have Amy holding a camera, she gets so frustrated. She's chucking things at me because I'm like, she's get it right. I
Go ahead. I don't want to put Suzanne on the spot, but please be comfortable. We're all here. So
okay, lovely. It's as Dave was saying, exactly right. It's sort of lots of different aspects of different people, and I've kind of put it into one person, if you see what I mean. Anyway, It's called Just See Me. What do you see? Hey, what do you see? What are you thinking when you're looking at me? A funny young woman who tries and tries, unsure of the dark, has a torch for eyes, who uses her cane from A to B. And you say to her, It's over there, can't you see? Who seems not to notice you right by her side. Her peripheral vision has gone, her dog is her guide. But how can she read that book on her lap? She's wearing dark glasses and is with a blind chap. Her glasses are dark to help with the glare, so please don't think you need to stare. But she seems to stare as she tries to focus, and she's using her phone, what hocus pocus. And as for texting her friend from Dover, did you know that she uses voiceover? Go to your phone settings, click accessibility. You can then see the aids she can use easily. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you see? Then open your eyes. You're not looking at me. I'm a kind, loving person who's learnt to adapt when in the past has felt so trapped. Who can watch TV with audio description. Her favourite comedy, laughter needs no prescription. Who can do anything her heart desires. She just does it differently, but she never tires. She can no longer drive on a conventional road, but don't let that stop her. She'll find a mode. A blind driving place, see her little heart soar, and watch her drive off in a 4x4. So just stop and think when you see her next time, and wonder what obstacles she's successfully climbed. She's stumbled and fallen, but got up and stayed. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So open your eyes, hey, open and see. Not a funny young woman, look closer, just see me.
Wow.
One take. You did it in one take.
And I loved it.
Absolutely.
Loved it. Loved
Thank
it.
you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. That took me about 15 minutes to write. The words just sort of flowed, you know?
There we go.
I
There
hear
we
that
go.
from Dave, and I'm sure hopefully Dave's been a great mentor to you as far as your
Yeah,
writing.
absolutely. Yes.
Dave, when he's in that zone, just things fly right off the paper, basically. And it's,
From the heart.
I've seen it with my own eyes, the way Dave just, focuses and then writes, and we got masterpieces. So I am beyond thrilled that you shared that with us tonight.
Thank you.
Incredible.
I can see stuff coming in on the chat already. I'm sure people out there give you thoughts.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Could I quickly say, sorry, I've just sort of, sounds really silly, but hopefully people can relate to this, but I've kind of kept myself hidden for fear of sort of opinion and stuff like that for such a long time. But the urge now to get out there and share and help people is much greater than my fear of anything like that. So here I am.
Can I just say something quickly, Suzanne? I've spoke about this recently on calls, and I was speaking about it a couple of days ago as well. I still struggle, as I've struggled this weekend, and I think it's natural to struggle. But I've got to the stage now when I have these dark days, and you Barry, you'll have heard me say this before. When I'm having my dark days, my first thought is, how can I use what I'm going through to help and inspire others and reach more people? And that is exactly what you have the ability to do with what you've just done there. So please, long may it continue. I'm always here, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Not only is Dave always here, but we are always here, and we would love to see you more often. And
yes.
Again, incredible work. I'm going to send you back as attendee as we wrap things up, because I cannot believe what time it is already. And we have a guest just popped in here out of the blue. And so we'll let him say a quick hello, and then we'll have Dave close it out. So again, Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
No, thank you.
Always welcome here. And I love the fact that you said you're not afraid anymore to go out and advocate and share those beautiful words. So keep up the great work.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, so again, the comments have been, definitely coming in. I just wanted, before I say quick hello, and we're just about time, there was a comment here that I want to give a lot of attention to that I think is really meaningful. It came through as an anonymous attendee, and this individual said, "This group helps so much. Having a challenging week, and so glad I tuned in today." Whoever sent that to us, we are so grateful that you were able to share time with us today, and we are happy that we were able to hopefully give you a little bit of an uplifting a few minutes, and we're just glad that you're here. So
And let's go back to what we were saying right at the beginning. We have talked about some pretty heavy stuff tonight, and what great power in being able to talk about these things.
Absolutely. So just a quick hello, Mr. Fox. How you doing over there?
I'm doing awesome, thank you. I'm preparing for Charlie Collins' arrival.
Nice.
And I want to tell you, Dave, I saw a newspaper article a couple days ago, and I've been keeping my eye on it, pun intended, and I didn't want to say anything, but it looks like it's very possible that they're going to open a possible travel portal between London and New York City. I don't know. Have you heard that?
Let's hope that's the case.
Fingers
If that's
crossed.
the case,
Fingers crossed.
I've had my eye on it, and it hasn't been shut down yet. It's still in the talks.
Ben, can I just quickly ask you, how long have you been listening to this call?
I came on at the tail end of that last poem. That lovely.
Right, okay. Well, listen, this is one you really need to listen back to when this comes out, because this has been unbelievable tonight. Karen at the beginning of the call and what we spoke about, you are going to get, you're going to love this tonight.
Yep, absolutely. So we miss you here in the office, and I'm
Totally
going
missed
to,
you.
because we're
I missed you on this call, Dave. I will watch it. I will watch it, and I will call you later to tell you about what I think. And also, I want to check in with you on just a couple different types of things, man. Thanks for all the work you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, B.
Good. Looking forward to it.
And Dave, take away, close it out. And so again, before Dave, just closing comments, I want to thank everyone for an incredible evening, afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed. We look forward to seeing you same time, same place, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. If you like, please go out, spread the word. We
Tell people.
We're creating, we have an incredible following here, and we want to see this grow. And with your help, we will continue to create greater awareness and continue to change lives. Take it away, Dave.
It's time we talked openly about this thing, depression. These rhyming verbs that flow through me will act as my confession. I'm well aware that people care, but still there's just this wall, this barrier, this stigma we feel too proud to call. For I'm a man and expected by society to be a sign of strength, protector to my family. Some feel a sign of weakness to admit that they feel down. I'm meant to be a king, but this crown can weigh me down. I hate the way my loved ones suffer for the sight I lose, the way I'm judged by strangers who my cane and eyes confuse. I wish that I could take a break and just for once go out, not feeling like a burden, no anxious chest, no doubt. These challenges that we cope with don't mean that we are weak. I've made a vow to stand up now, for others I will speak. If I can talk about the times I've drowned in darkest thoughts, then maybe someone else out there will understand they've my support. These tears that wet my cheek as I am writing this for you remind me that my heart's not numb and all that I can do. Don't be ashamed, your pride unclaimed. Don't listen to the trolls. These demons inside all our heads won't claim our fragile souls. Our mental health, like wealth, can come and go in the blink of an eye. Remember, we can't win them all, but as long as we still try. This life can be amazing, and I'm raising up my head. Don't keep it in. Let's all begin to understand instead.
Wow. Dave, talk about a piece of poetry to end the night. Wow. And don't listen to those trolls out there. That's for sure.
We got you. We got you.
Dave, incredible as always. Thank everyone for joining us this afternoon, this evening.
I hope everyone will come back next week.
Wishing everyone continued good health, and we look forward to seeing you next week. B, I'll see you.
See you soon, y'all.
And just one last thing, for those of you who had your hands up and we couldn't get to you, I want to apologize. We will definitely pick it up and continue strong next week.
Absolutely.
Look forward to seeing everyone. Take care. You well, Dave.
Have a great week.
Cheers.
Thanks, Barry.
Cheers.